Welcome to a special bedhead edition of The Process, the first of 2022. I am Josh Engelman. I'm here to break down a 10-game NBA slate. If you're looking at me right now, I look disheveled. No hat today. Woke up, realized the hat was in a different room. Didn't need to go get it while the wife was asleep. So we're hatless for today with some rotten hair, but that's fine. That's not what we're here for. We're here for spreadsheets, right, everybody? Hit that like button if you haven't done it already. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Happy New Year and good morning to everybody here. We're finally into 2022. Let's do our best to have a big year. We're gonna go hard for these next couple months. I'm excited to really start off the new year focused on fantasy basketball, so it should be fun. Hopefully 2022 refreshes itself the same way 2021 refreshed itself. I had a big win in January of last year. I am hoping that I can have a big win in January of this year. But now, let's figure it all out. You guys know how we want to start this one off. It's going to be interesting getting to the end of this week because got to dive back into eating clean and exercising again. I didn't go to the gym at all last week. My gym was closed. So today starts it up again. And it's time to just feel better. So while I'm dragging butt today after a pretty rough Liverpool match yesterday, the goal is that this stream next Monday, January 10th, feels a lot better. Speaking of streams in the future, January 13th, I will not be doing this stream. I have to take Thursday off. So Thursday of next week, there won't be a stream for anything. No process, contenders, anything, strategy show. I'm not on anything for next Thursday. So Dolores, yes, back on the old diet. I mean, I ate everything in sight in this house for the past 2 weeks. Every cookie that walked through the door or got carried through the door had to end up in my stomach. Every bread, sandwich, everything, pizza, all of it. I ate all of it for the past 2 weeks. That ends today. Cleaning it up. Need to get back to feeling good again. That's fine. So if you're here, hit that like button if you haven't done it already. I've got my coffee, which is super necessary today. I hope you guys have something, coffee, tea, water, beer, soda, whatever you do to start off your morning every morning. That's what I've got right now. That's my coffee. So, cheers to you guys. Rise and grind right there. Time to dive in to 2022. Bang, bang. Ooh, that is not the best cup of coffee I've ever had. It's really not. All right, let's get some tunes going in the background. Done. Let's change that up. And then let's talk a little bit about Prize Picks. All the way up there, top banner, presenting sponsor of this show. Go to awesemo.com/prize picks -promo. If you're listening right now, you can do that. You can get 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. You can get up to $100 instant match deposit bonus. We've got free tools on awesemo.com that will help you in your journey at Prize Picks. You should do it. We have current millionaire Alex Awesemo Baker preparing part of these tools. Yes, current millionaire. I say that because Alex shipped a milli yesterday, so kudos to him. Well deserved. I know that sounds ridiculous for someone that's at the top of the ranks, but I don't believe had popped one like that ever before. Per his tweet, looked like he was down quite a bit on milli entry fees. No longer. Positive EV tournament for the old boss. So congrats to the boss man for pulling down the milli, and for everybody else that had any wins over the weekend. You could get maybe not the milli wins, but big wins nonetheless at Prize Picks. So again, awesemo.com/prize picks -promo. Let's get into this 10-game slate. We have 4 games with 10+ point spreads. Houston, the first one, 13-point dogs in Philly. We've got Orlando, 13-point dogs in Chicago. Detroit, 15-point dogs in Milwaukee. And then Utah is a 10-point favorite in New Orleans. S&P, I wouldn't say that it's awful, but it's very clearly green still. I mean, if we took them both and just put them into the draft again and started over, Jalen Green is going before Cole Anthony almost exclusively. That's just how it is. Yeah, fun weekend for mentally off players. I don't know how else to say it. Kevin Porter, Antonio Brown, those guys should go get brunch today or something and have a talk about their weekends, because that was interesting to say the least. Let's get into this because this is going to be a while. Houston Rockets, 13-point dogs in Philly. We've got a Q tag on Kevin Porter. Don't know what to do with that one. I mean, Q tag on Christian Wood. Don't know what to do with that one. I mean, we're talking about a guy that freaked out on a coach and another guy that basically quit at the middle of the game. So Eric Gordon's questionable for hamstring tightness. He missed the last one. That would have been Saturday. Garrison Matthews is off the COVID reports. DJ Augustine is off the COVID reports. No Şengün, no Armani Brooks. I mean, I don't really know what to do with Houston here. These aren't injuries. It's not even COVID where we kind of like we could just project guys in. You have to assume that these guys aren't going to play, right? I mean, all right, chat, what do you guys think? Do you think that Houston is going to play Kevin Porter and or Christian Wood today? Because it feels like they won't. It feels like Kevin Porter Jr. and Christian Wood are both going to be out of this game today. It makes a lot less sense for me to they either play like normal or they don't play at all. I don't think that there's going to be some like, oh, they play but don't start. That feels dumb. I mean, how do you start somebody after that? How do you start somebody like that? Maybe Wood plays and Porter doesn't. Porter, I have a hard time seeing play. Yeah, the Guru, I think you're right. I'm going to leave both guys in for right now and have this conversation with Adam at 10 o'clock. Because it's just, we're going to see some things pop up for Houston that aren't potentially real, and I don't think that that gets us anywhere. So I'm going to leave them both in for right now. Standard issue rotation for both, 32 minutes. Assuming DJ Augustine is now back and off the COVID report, I'm going to think that he is the backup point guard. I'm going to give Jalen Green 32 minutes as well. I'm going to take out Josh Christopher's minutes. I'm going to leave Eric Gordon in for 30 minutes. We're going to take Nwaba out, and then I'm going to take Kenyon Martin out. I assume Martin started on the first, but who started for Christian Wood is sort of the more interesting piece for me. So we got Kenyon. No, Martin didn't start. He just took over after. So Green, Tice, Nwaba, Tate, Porter. So Tice rather, in for Wood in that stance. So I assume we're getting Porter, Green, Tate, Martin, Wood. Actually, it's probably Nwaba over Martin. Yeah, it's probably Nwaba over Martin. So we're going to say that Tate gets back in there for his kind of standard 28 minutes. Actually, we also need to think about whether or not Garrison Matthews is going to be back in the starting lineup. I'm guessing he's not. Butho, good morning. This is kind of a complicated rotation now for Houston. Who's the backup center, too? Is that just going to be Tice? I guess it is, right? That makes the most sense. And then Kenyon Martin is the backup here. I mean, Garrison Matthews has been out for a while, but we're talking about a guy that was playing 28 minutes a game, even with basically almost everybody back. I'm going to say that Garrison Matthews still plays, I don't know, like maybe they go 28-20, Gordon and Garrison Matthews, and then Josh Christopher plays like 16. That's the best that I can do right now on this Houston team. Tricky rotations. Everybody's at full strength, so I don't even think that we like Houston all that much. So let's look at Philly, who, I mean, there's a decent chance Philly pops hard here. Like, Joel Embiid should look really good. We've got Danny Green off of the COVID list. Matisse Thybulle is questionable due to COVID. Jaden Springer, Miles Powell both out. So this is morning to everybody, by the way. Everybody that's popping in. So this is basically normal rotations for Philly. Like, everybody that could be in appears to be in. Except for Thybulle, at which point, we'll figure that one out. What do we know happened with Thybulle? Did he... Because for him to be questionable, that's kind of weird. What, real? How is he questionable? He's either in or he's not. I think this Philly rotation is just pretty easy. Like, we're going to get Danny Green back, but I don't think that he's just going to dive into massive minutes. Like, does he just play 26? Is it that easy? I got 34 for Maxey, 36 for Seth Curry. I mean, maybe that should be 34 on a day like today. 20 for Shake. Yeah, I'm happy with this rotation. Philly rates are fine, too. So, this should be fun. I don't think Houston... So, Houston has the potential to be a problem if... Like, Christian Wood's 6,200 on DraftKings today. If Christian Wood is starting for Houston, he's an incredible play. Yeah, Butho, that was on purpose, though, because of Wood being missing a COVID test. I don't assume that that's a long-term change. But assuming Wood starts for Houston, he's a great play on DraftKings. There's not really much else for Houston that you would want, but 6,200 for Christian Wood on DraftKings if he gets the start, it's just not the correct price tag. For Philly, though, Seth Curry's probably a little bit too expensive. Embiid, 10-8 on FanDuel, 11-4 on DraftKings. I mean, there's no problem going to Joel Embiid in a matchup against Houston. We're talking about a Houston team that's the 5th fastest team in basketball. And bad on D. So, love Embiid. Happy to get to Tobias Harris still on FanDuel at 7,100. Maxey for 5,900 on DraftKings is too cheap. Lots to like here for this Philly team. Butho, you're good. Lots to like for this Philly team. That's one game down. Butho, you don't have any idea what actually happened with Christian Wood, do you? Google that one, man. You'll get the info. Let's do Charlotte at Washington. Hornets, 2-point dogs. In Washington, 224 total. PJ Washington questionable. Everybody else available. That's fun to see. So most of this, the only thing, well, I need to get Miles Bridges back in there. So let's take out everybody and do this quickly. LaMelo in at point guard. We're going to say 30 minutes. We're going to say Ish Smith, backup point guard. Oh, maybe we're not. Let's get everybody first. Let's get the reals first and foremost. Mason Plumlee. I'm going to say 26 minutes. That makes some sense. I'm going to say that PJ Washington is in. And playing the backup 5. We'll get Miles Bridges in for 32 minutes. We'll get Gordon Hayward in for 32 minutes. We'll get Terry Rozier in for 32 minutes. 32s across the board for all of those guys. Slightly less for Kelly Oubre. We're going to give him 18. Or, sorry, 28. 18 would be ridiculous. So that's pretty easy so far. I guess Cody Martin gets about 20. Maybe third. Nah, we can't go 30. 24? Does that make sense? It's Ish Smith, right? Ish Smith gets the extra time? Has to be. Feels most likely like Ish Smith. Although if PJ Washington's back, maybe it's not, but feels like it would be Ish. I don't think they're going to go to Nick Richards anymore if PJ Washington is back. Maybe they do. Maybe we get that same 6-minute run at a Nick Richards. And then we go 6 and 16. Gordon Hayward is almost exclusively. All right, yeah, that worked. This is going to work. We got this down pat now. So that's 32 for Hayward. It leaves us 20 minutes for Cody Martin, 10 minutes for Ish Smith, 10-man rotation. I'm happy with that. Bang. Got it. Charlotte rotation done. No one looks interesting anyway, so it really doesn't matter. Wizards, on the other hand. Does anybody look interesting for the Washington Wizards? We have no Spencer Dinwiddie, no Rui, no Trez, no Thomas Bryant, no Neto, no Aaron Holiday, no Brad Wanamaker, no Anthony Gill. Bertans not on the injury report. So, we got to gut all of Washington. And we don't have Neto. We don't have Holiday. Bradley Beal ostensibly has to be the point guard here. Is that what we're thinking? No Dinwiddie. They went Avdia, Kispert, KCP, Kuzma, Beal, heavy minutes last time out. That was on the 1st. So let's take a look at that. they started Kuzma, Beal, Gafford, Caldwell Pope, and Kispert. I assume that's the starting lineup we're going to get again today. We got big minutes out of Denny throughout that entire matchup. I assume that's because of foul trouble. Gafford, 2 fouls in his first rotation. Didn't pick up any in that second quarter, which is interesting. Or in the third quarter. Okay, so it wasn't foul trouble for Gafford. They just didn't have him out there. Okay. Fair enough. Well, we're going to get 38 minutes out of Bradley Beal. That one feels pretty safe. And then we ended up getting 38 minutes out of KCP. I'm going to give him 34 at the very least. Probably should give him 36 if we're being honest. So let's do that. Now it's KCP. 34 makes more sense. Corey Kispert played 28, has averaged 32 over the last 5. That's some Beal out, some Dinwiddie out, KCP out, Wanamaker out. Daniel Gafford in at center. I think 30 makes the most sense. With Isaiah Todd as the backup. Anthony Gill, maybe. Kuzma, he's got to be in for 34 minutes. Man, we're going to play a lot of Wizards today. In like a problematic way. I'm going to give Kispert 30. Man, maybe Gafford at 30 is a problem. Maybe that should be 28. Oh, Anthony Gill is out, so he's not the backup center any longer either. So backup center, Alize Johnson? Probably, right? That makes the most sense. I mean, they could go to Isaiah Todd. I don't think it's going to matter all that much. We're going to get Bertans back for... I mean, how long has he been out? Bertans missed 2, so we're just going to give him 20 minutes. By the way, I think I'm about to get a really rough thunderstorm. Let me look at this weather quickly. I want to make sure that I don't get just booted from this stream. Okay. Tornado watch. All right. I mean, it might get ridiculous in the next 45 minutes. We'll see. All right, so there's 34 minutes for Kuzma, 34 for Pope, 30 for Kispert, 38 for Beal. We've got Gafford in, Bertans in, and Alize Johnson in. Denny would be next. So we got to get Denny Avdia. I don't know, 28 minutes? That's probably about right. So now we need to start shifting people down the positional spectrum. So we'll do something like that. And then we need 8 minutes of a backup point guard. Looks like Tremont Waters got that run the last time out. Tremont Waters is going... Well, he would get it again if I had Tremont Waters on the Wizards. But apparently I have Tremont Waters on someone else. I don't actually care who gets these 8 minutes. So Joel Ayayi is my new backup point guard to make my life easier. So I guess we got to change rates because those are all Dinwiddie rates. Get ready, everybody, because this is what makes the Wizards pop. If we take Spencer Dinwiddie off, just Spencer Dinwiddie off, we get Bradley Beal to a 31% usage rate. Oddly enough, not all that crazy in comparison to what it's been previously with no Russell Westbrook on the floor. I'm going to take Neto off as well. Wow, so Beal still doesn't get that jump. That's wild. I'm going to leave him with his normal rates. We see the giant assist rate bump. So he's been a 1.29 fantasy point per minute guy with no Neto and no Dinwiddie on the floor. I actually trust that assist rate. I mean, he's going to be the point guard for most of this game. So we're going to want to put him in there. It's really interesting to see, though, that like nobody else really gets a big usage bump. or really any other kind of bump. So the only thing that I do want to push up is Kyle Kuzma's rebounding rate. Otherwise, I think I'm fine here with everything else. So let's look at this game quickly. These are 2 of the 7 o'clock games. Charlotte, there are no priorities here. Like, you're happy to get to LaMelo or Rozier or Bridges, but no one individually stands out as someone you want to get a lot of, in my opinion. On the Washington side, however, Bradley Beal looks exceptional at 9,100 on FanDuel. That price tag is just not correct. This is a massive pace-up spot. Bad Charlotte defense. Beal with a monster rate boost. Again, 231 minutes for Beal with no Dinwiddie, no Neto. 36% assist rate. That's just... There's going to be a lot of assists for Bradley Beal to go around today. I think he looks really, really, really good. I think Kuzma looks great on FanDuel at 6,800. I think KCP is a solid value across FanDuel or DraftKings. Daniel Gafford is a really nice value across FanDuel and DraftKings. You can make a case for Kispert or Denny Avdia. You just want to get a lot of Washington today against Charlotte. That's really all there is. Crispy, what's going on, man? Happy New Year to you as well. Memphis at Brooklyn. The Memphis Grizzlies are 7-point dogs, 218.5 total. We'll start on the Memphis side, where I continue to make that too big, and it is a problem. So Memphis. Oh, boy. All right. Still no Dylan Brooks, no Melton, no Slow-Mo now, no Tillman, Conchar, Zaire Williams. So let's trim this Memphis rotation a little bit, figure out where we need to be. So we need to take, I'm going to take Shaq Buchanan's minutes away, Tyrell Terry's minutes away, Killian Tilly's minutes away, Kyle Anderson. Let's get John. Let's get everybody out of there. Who are we kidding? All right. So with all these injuries, we've got Ja playing about 32 minutes a game. Assuming this one's competitive, I'm giving him 34. Easy. If we give him 34 right out of the gate, the next question that we have is how many minutes do Tyus Jones and Ja Morant play alongside each other? We'll figure that one out second. So we've got Tyus in for the backup point guard minutes first and foremost. We'll then go to the center spot. We'll go to Steven Adams. Adams has been playing about 27 minutes a game. So if this is competitive against Brooklyn, I'm going to say 28. Not exactly the best spot for Steven Adams, although they are starting to get their centers back, which is more interesting. Who has been the Memphis direct backup at center? Memphis last played on the 31st. They played San Antonio. Okay, so that's interesting because you get Jakob Poeltl out there. So when Adams came off, Aldama came on. So Brandon Clark was already on the floor. So they were kind of just going with either whoever you want to call out of like Brandon Clark or Jaren Jackson. Whoever you want to call the 5 there is the 5. In this spot, we had Brandon Clark come on straight for him in the fourth quarter. And it was kind of over. I was going to say, and close over him, but it's actually true. Jackson and Morant were both out there too. All right, so let's say that Brandon Clark is the backup 5. Jaren Jackson plays 30 minutes at the 4. It's about right in a competitive game. Desmond Bane has been playing about 32 minutes a game in a competitive game, so we're going to go to 34 on Bane. And now we need to figure out what happens with Kyle Anderson now in health and safety protocols. So, in theory, we could get more Brandon Clark. It seems like we're going to get Aldama more than just about anybody else. We know that we're not getting Kyle Anderson. So we've got 80 minutes to give to more of Tyus Jones. So Tyus Jones alongside Ja Morant, which last time out, Tyus Jones played 28 minutes. So they played a lot alongside each other. I have to assume that they're willing to do that as well. So let's give him 10 here. That takes him to 24. Who is going to start at... So we're going to get Ja, Bane, Jackson, Adams. Those 4 guys are going to start here, for sure. The 5th starter, I'm not entirely sure I understand who that's going to be. Santi Aldama sounds like the most likely. Or I guess Killian Tilly. Because Tilly subbed in... Killy was the direct backup of Kyle Anderson. So I'm going to say that Killian Tilly is going to start here. And play... I mean, he doesn't have to close. So I'm going to say that Tilly gets 26 minutes. And that maybe Aldama plays a little bit of 3 and 4. This is where it gets really, really, really tricky. I guess I need to add Sneed to my model. Sneed played 6 minutes so far, but apparently might play today. A little bit more than that. We'll get him added later today. I mean, I'm going to give Aldama the backup 4 run right now. It's possible Brandon Clark just has to play a little bit more as well. So I'm going to take him up to 24 minutes. We still have 22 minutes left over for just full-on randos here. Sneed can get some of that time. Culver, in theory, could get some of that time. This is a difficult rotation. Luckily, these bottom pieces don't really matter all that much. I'm going to give Pons 11 minutes here. And I'm going to give Culver the other 11 minutes. I don't feel too comfortable with that. Because I think Sneed plays, but I don't think he's playable. Rates should all be the same because Kyle Anderson isn't going to affect anything. So I'm going to leave this as is. Steven Adams on FanDuel, I think, is going to be a problem. We shall see. Let's go to Brooklyn now. I'm not sure I've projected Brooklyn in a while. So, oh yeah, I did. Now I remember Brooklyn playing. So let's go to Brooklyn. What do we know here? No Joe Harris, no Kyrie. LaMarcus Aldridge questionable with a right foot injury. That's actually important. I guess we have to assume that Brooklyn is, or that LaMarcus Aldridge is going to play. That makes sense to me. If we look at Brooklyn's last game, that was on the first against the Clippers. They went normal lineup. Mills, Harden, Brown, Durant, Aldridge. I'm going to assume they do that again. Nick Claxton was just the straight backup to LaMarcus Aldridge. And then they closed small, adding DeAndre Bembry. That actually let them... They actually blew that lead by doing that. So, minutes-wise, this shouldn't be all that bad. Durant's playing 38 a game. We're going to give him 38. Somebody's minutes need to go away. So Cam Thomas is back but not playing. That is interesting. Let's get everybody out of there because it's going to be easier to project otherwise. We're going to go Patty Mills, 33. James Harden, 38. So 23 there. We're going to go... I mean, if Aldridge is playing, I don't think he's naturally just going to sit out a true beating and blow the game. I think he's more likely to close. So I'm going to say it's 26 Aldridge, 22 Claxton. And then it's 38 to Durant. And then James Johnson played massive minutes this last time out, 2 giant rotations and closed. Don't necessarily think that he has to close moving forward. So we're going to say James Johnson is 22 minutes. That leaves us 61 minutes for the rest of these guys. And that's going to be Bruce Brown, Bembry, and whatever else I want to do with additional time. Tell you what, man, Brooklyn certainly makes it difficult. So Bruce Brown played 22 minutes. Since they play him more as a big, I think that he's only going to be playing like 22 minutes here. I think Bembry is the guy, Bembry closed. Again, I don't think that that's necessarily something that has to happen. So we're going to give him Bembry 24 minutes rather. And that leaves us 15 additional minutes for someone random in this rotation. Blake seems to be the first guy, but I don't know how necessary that is against Memphis. Cam Thomas, to me, is the guy that's just going to start playing again. There's no telling who's going to close, so that can be a bigger discussion point for Adam and I later. So that's this game, Memphis and Brooklyn. Only 7:30 start. On Memphis, $4,900 Steven Adams is interesting to me on FanDuel. Ja looks good on both sites. Desmond Bane looks solid on DraftKings at $6,900. These guys are just priced up a little bit now, and it's kind of hard to want to get to them aggressively. By the way, 140 viewers, just 64 likes. This is the first stream. This is the first process for 2022. What can we do? Can we bump that bad boy up a bit? That'd be nice. It'd be nice if we could run those likes up a little higher. Let's go to Brooklyn. We're going to be here for a bit, guys. This one feels like we're going to be ending around 8 o'clock, so get those likes in now. Oh, yeah, I could hear the rain now outside. All right, for Brooklyn, Harden is 11-4 on FanDuel, which is fine. He's 11-3 on DraftKings, even better. Just James Harden projects so much better on DraftKings than he does on FanDuel. Durant looks okay on both sites, also better on DraftKings than he is on FanDuel. And then everybody else just sort of looks not great. So pretty standard issue stuff for Brooklyn so far. Now we get into the 8 o'clock ass-beating section. All 3 games that tip off at 8 o'clock have 10-point lines. Orlando, 13.5. Detroit, 15. Utah, 10.5. You might want to play the 3-game 8 o'clock slate. And just play the game of this is the team that stays in it. Because I could pull the money lines to check it, but I would guess our expectation is that one of those 3 underdogs win outright. It's got to be really close. One or more, I guess, is the better way to say that. All right, we're going to do Orlando first. Noted point guard that's better than Jalen Green, Cole Anthony, up here for Orlando. I mean, I just assume that Orlando's missing 2/3 of their team still. Yeah, okay. No Cole Anthony, no Suggs, no Isaac, Fultz, Okiki, Robin Lopez, Michael Carter-Williams, or Eton Moore. So it's kind of what we've been used to for Orlando, I guess. It's big play out of RJ Hampton. So I guess not RJ Hampton. I guess it's Tim Frazier. I'm going to start the rotation over. We're going to go Tim Frazier, 32 minutes. Ooh, Terrence Ross is back? Was he back the last one? Okay, he was. We're going to go 32 minutes to Frazier. We're going to go 32 minutes to Ross. And as I work my way through this, if I find out that somebody else that's in is going to play more minutes, I will stop. We're going to go 32 minutes to Gary Harris. No, that's not true. We're going to go 36 minutes to Gary Harris. And then 36 minutes to Franz Wagner. No, 34 minutes to Franz Wagner. That makes more sense. And then Wendell Carter Jr. for 32. So that's in theory what the starting lineup would look like. Maybe. That's the assumption. So after that, RJ Hampton is going to be the backup point guard, which I think makes some sense. Bamba was back. Okay, so Bamba is back. Played 18 minutes. This Orlando rotation is going to murder me. So Bamba had missed 8 games. I don't think that Mo Bamba is just going to fly into massive minutes here. So I'm going to say that Mo Bamba is just the backup plus a little bit. Maybe he gets to like 22. And then Gravette is back. So we can go and give Gravette maybe 16 minutes. So that works. That's leaving us 20 additional minutes for unknown player here. I'm going to say that RJ Hampton just gets more time. It doesn't make a ton of sense for him not to. So I'm going to take him up to 24. That leaves me 12. And at that point, I don't really care who I give them to. If Michael Mulder is now available, we'll give him 12 minutes. Rates do not change for me. I'm going to leave this one go. Although, let's just look at it quickly to see what Orlando looks like with Anthony off and Suggs off. Because I think I got to bump Wagner a little bit. J.K. Lawrence, Happy New Year. King Jacob. Yeah, no hat today. I woke up. I chose Scraggle. All right, we're gonna bump Franz Wagner up to 23.5% usage. I think that makes more sense. Doesn't really get a giant rate change anywhere else. Terrence Ross obviously picks up a pretty sizable usage rate. We shouldn't be surprised there. Tim Frazier hasn't played enough to matter, but 133 minutes, 15% usage rate. So we will cut that down a bit. Assist rate is exactly what we would expect. Nobody else really gets a giant usage bump. Wendell Carter's in the 20s. That's fine. All the centers get into the 20s, which is fine. I think we're fine. We're okay with Orlando. Man, this Orlando team sucks. They are truly, truly not good. JJ, I'll be honest. I barely saw any football yesterday. It was a sad day for me once Liverpool gacked away a 2-goal lead to Chelsea on a worldy, maybe 2 of them. To the Bulls we go. Bulls. Lonzo back. Caruso still out. Javonte Green out. Tony Bradley out. Tyler Cook, Simonovic, Patrick Williams out. Evidently, Ersan Ilyasova is available. Alfonso McKinney is also available. So, Chicago should be pretty easy to handle. We're going to leave Vooch in. Derek Jones played more minutes, so let's pull the minutes of everybody that isn't a normal starter. Yeah, I didn't play NFL yesterday or NBA on New Year's Day. I did neither of those 2 things, so I dodged everything. All right, Kobe White's minutes are going to be slightly different. So we've had Lonzo out for 5 games. We don't really know how much he's going to play today. I'm going to assume that he plays 30 minutes. And I'm going to assume that Kobe White is the backup. Does Kobe White start? Lonzo, Levine, DeRozan, Vooch. Do they start Kobe White? Wouldn't make a ton of sense, right? Were they starting Kobe White on like the 26th? He probably did, right? He played 33 minutes. Did Kobe White start on the 26th? All right. Home. Bulls. White. All right, he did. So they did start these guys alongside each other. Which is kind of annoying. So we're going to say that Kobe White then plays 30 minutes. Derek Jones as the backup 5 plus a little extra. 26. Does that happen? 26 is a lot of minutes to play. But if you're going to play a really tight rotation, I guess it makes some sense. Zach LaVine's just in for 36. We know what we're doing there. DeMar in for 36. We know what we're doing there. Dosunmu, I assume DeMar's just going to hit a buzzer beater. Dosunmu playing 21 minutes. That seems about as easy as you can get. Troy Brown is the guy that played a bunch this last time out. He had been playing just in general, so we're going to give him 15 minutes. And then maybe 12 to Matt Thomas. Call that a day. I don't think we need to make any rate changes because it's not like Lonzo dictates anything. We definitely need to put in Lonzo's rate, I guess. Well, I guess for Chicago, nobody is off that truly matters any longer. Like, Lonzo affects things, but I don't think it'll be a lot. So DeMar, 35% usage rate with no Lonzo on the floor. Okay, that, I guess, makes some sense. I don't know why I'm taking Lonzo off when I need to take Caruso off. That makes no sense, Josh. It's early. It's Monday. What are we doing? I don't know what I'm doing. All right. Now, with Alex Caruso off, we got a 28% usage rate out of Zach LaVine. I can't go that low. We get DeMar, 28. We get Vooch, 22.5. And that kind of just leaves everybody else. But I do need to cut assist rates to some of these guys. LaVine assist rate is okay. Lonzo's assist rate is okay. Okay, now we're good. Now we're good. Not a lot to like here for Chicago, if we're being honest. At least I don't think. So on Orlando, lots of little pieces. Although Terrence Ross for 4,400 on DraftKings, assuming he's starting and playing 30 minutes, he's going to end up looking like a really good point per dollar play. As is Tim Frazier, 3,800 if he's playing 32 minutes. I mean, Tim Frazier's terrible in fantasy, but still, we're looking at Gary Harris a little bit, Franz Wagner more than a little bit, Wendell Carter Jr. more than a little bit. Ross and Frazier, though, the two best plays. Ross for sure. $4,400 Ross if he's starting, shooting go to small forward. He's going to be a top 5 guy today, I think. Just because of the positional eligibility. So that's one we need to keep our eye on. I can make that even bigger. Oh, yeah, now we can see that a little bit better. That looks good. Now, for Orlando, that's Orlando. For Chicago, again, remember, 13-point favorites here. $8,300 LaVine on FanDuel, $9,200 Vooch on DraftKings. Those are the two best plays here. You can kind of play any one of the starters, and it's okay. No real priorities, though. On to the 15-point underdog Detroit Pistons taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. This is not ideal. I don't even know who's... So, Hayes available, Cunningham available, Saban Lee, Trey Lyles, Josh Jackson, Rodney Magruder available. No Grant, Isaiah Stewart. We just got to delete everything that's here. Holy shit. These Monday COVID slates are getting to be mildly difficult. Here's the deal. Hamidou Diallo should have been playing more from the beginning. He's been better than most people think. Okay, so let's try to work our way through this Detroit team. We're assuming that Killian Hayes is back and playing. We're assuming everybody that can be playing is playing. So I'm going to give Killian Hayes 24 minutes. We also get Saban Lee back. I'm going to give him the other 24 minutes at point guard. We're going to call Cade Cunningham starter 32 minutes. We're going to say starting center is Trey Lyles. That was mostly a question. Has to be, right? They're going to go to Lyles before they go back to 39 minutes of Luka Garza. So let's assume that Trey Lyles is going to play 32 minutes, Luka Garza as the backup, and more potentially. We know that Saddiq Bey is just going to play 38 minutes. Because even with all these guys back in, it's not like they're going to be trying to play, a ton of Rodney Magruder. We know that we're going to get a lot of time out of Hamidou Diallo again. I think Diallo's in for 36. So that leaves me 38 minutes for Josh Jackson. Potentially Magruder, more to Luka Garza. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's totally different. I was just sort of rallying for Diallo as a guy that should be playing more just in general. All right, who's going to get these minutes? Are they just going to cast like a pretty wide net? Because they can. They can just go 16, 12, and 10 across 3 guys, run a 10-man, and call it a day. Feels like they'd be more likely to go to a 9. So maybe like 18 minutes a piece of both of these guys. Do we do like a couple extra minutes for Luka Garza? Gets him to 20. And then we say something like Rodney Magruder and Josh Jackson split 34 minutes. Let me do something like this. Oh, wait. That was supposed to go to Magruder. We go something like this. I think that makes some sense. Now, I don't trust this team right now because of the Pistons. They suck, and they're missing most of the guys that actually have a pulse. And they're integrating guys that have been out for 4 games. But we have to look at it anyway. So Jeremy Grant off. We'll take Olynyk off as well. So that's a 22% usage rate for Saddiq Bey. It's a 22% usage rate for Hamidou Diallo. It's a 27% usage rate for Cade Cunningham. Also gets the giant assist bump in this scenario. Everybody else I don't really care too much about. Oh, man. Did I just screw this up already? No, Stewart's out. Thank God. I guess we want to make sure that we get Trey Lyles rates right, considering he's the guy that's stepping into the value, potentially. I also need to trim this workbook a little bit. It's starting to chug a little. All right, so Trey Lyles has played 331 minutes with no Jeremy Grant and no Kelly Olynyk on the floor this year. He's got a 22% usage rate. He does not rebound nearly as frequently. I don't want to go to 22 because he's Trey Lyles, so I am going to go to 21. But Trey Lyles looking damn good. Oh, man. All right, I'm happy with this rotation for Detroit. It's about to look a lot worse because we're going to have to look at Milwaukee, and it just doesn't feel... I mean, I assume everybody's still in for Milwaukee. Nope. DiVincenzo sprained ankle. Q-tag on Middleton for personal reasons. No Semi still, no Thanasis. I mean, this seems like a spot where you don't play Chris Middleton, but this is not a spot where I'm expecting big minutes out of anybody in this rotation. So 33 for Drew, 33 for Middleton, 32 for Giannis. I'm happy with all of that. The only guy that we got to take out of here is DiVincenzo. We saw Grayson Allen get back up to 30 minutes with no Middleton. Similar story for Connaughton. I think that's going to happen again with, well, DiVincenzo was out there. So let's get Wes Matthews up to 16 minutes. Grayson Allen I have in now for 24. I think Connaughton in for 24 makes sense. I think we just play Rodney Hood and call it. I don't think they're going to be going bonkers getting these guys into anything here. I need to give... Now, that makes sense, actually. All right, so looking at this one now. This is Detroit. Still missing a bunch of guys. Best play in this game is Trey Lyles. I don't think anybody's shocked there. 4,800 on FanDuel, power forward eligible. 4,900 on DraftKings, power forward center eligible. Massive MPE there. Cade is going to be pretty tough to play at 9K on DraftKings. A little bit easier to get to on FanDuel at 7,500. Who knows how many minutes he's playing. Hamidou Diallo is overpriced on DraftKings at 8,700. 7,300 on FanDuel is still solid. And then 17% boom rate on Sadiq Bey at 7K on FanDuel. I mean, this is just, they're very different here. Sadiq Bey is $1,500 cheaper on FanDuel than DraftKings. Diallo, $1,400 cheaper on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings. Cade, $1,500 cheaper on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings. If you're playing the Pistons, you're not really playing them on DraftKings. You are playing them on FanDuel. So that's where we're at right now for the Pistons. For Milwaukee, I don't get the sense that we're going to be playing anything here other than, like, if you want to play Giannis, he's Giannis. If you want to play Drew Holiday on DraftKings at 8,500, sure. Middleton, 7,800 if he's in, sure. Maybe a little bit of Portis, but it's really hard to want to prioritize anything from Milwaukee unless they just don't get ownership. On to game number 3 at 8 o'clock. That's a 10-point or more favorite. The Utah Jazz taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. Jazz, Q-tag on Whiteside, Q-tag on Pascal. Everybody for Utah is in. Just in case you're curious, we all know exactly what Utah's rotations will look like when everybody is available to play. So, we're going to go ahead and pop Rudy Gobert in for his standard issue 33 minutes. We're going to give Hassan Whiteside the backup run. We're going to give Mike Conley his 30. Backup run to Donovan Mitchell. And then Donovan Mitchell gets up to his 34. Jordan Clarkson plays, 26 minutes? Sure. Joe Ingles plays 26 minutes. So far, so good here on this projection. We go to 30 on Bojan Bogdanovic. We go to 32 on Royce O'Neal. And that's leaving me 14 for Rudy Gay, which doesn't exactly feel correct. But I don't really know where else to give those minutes. So, doesn't really matter. Today is not a day where you play Rudy Gay. Rates, I got to cut. Did I give playing time to somebody that doesn't know? Who? Why are the Utah Jazz guys not pulling through? Where are their salaries? Or, I guess the better question is, why are they not getting rebounds? What is driving this? Is it New Orleans? Ah, I know what it is. Because I changed Herb Jones's name. It's the little things that mess things up, that's for sure. All right, let's fix Herbert Jones. That should fix everything. Bang, done. Now we'll go back to Utah. Because I do need to at least mildly look at the rates here for the Jazz. Although, it's possible I actually don't. What is Donovan Mitchell's usage rate just this season? Because that's really all that we're looking for here. If I get Mitchell right, I get everybody right. Donovan Mitchell on the season, 32.6% usage. I got him in at 31.6, and I think that I'm okay with that in this spot. I don't like the fact that Royce O'Neal is the guy that's popping the most for the Jazz, but here we are. So now let's handle the Pelicans. Newly minted Herbert Jones in my model. For some reason, he started the season as Herb Jones, and then Basketball Reference changed it. Not helpful. Not only that, that also happened switched from Wes Awundu to Wesley Awundu, or vice versa, one of the two. But that is something that has just popped up recently. All right, we're at 7:30 now. We're still not at 100 likes, guys. This used to be something we got 30 minutes ago. Maybe we can bump that back up a little bit. All right. Q tag on Brandon Ingram, who's missed the last two. Q tag on Joval, who missed the last one due to COVID. We have no Zion, no Satoransky. So this one's a tricky one because the Brandon Ingram piece of it matters because we don't really know if he's playing. He was questionable on Saturday before getting ruled out. So I'm going to assume that Ingram plays. I don't totally know what we know about Joval either. So if we look at Joval's blurb, didn't play Saturday. All right, I'm just going to assume that Joval is also playing. If Joval doesn't play, fire up your Willie Hernangomez, I would imagine. So we're going to get Joval in for... So he's played one game since the 21st. I'm going to say that Joval plays 30 minutes. Willie Hernangomez plays 18. We're going to go with... Let's bring this down a little bit. Perfect. Devontae Graham has been playing about 32 minutes a game. That's easy enough. Herbert Jones is playing 35, 36 minutes a game as of late, but if we're assuming Brandon Ingram is in, and I think that we do, we give him 35 minutes. I think Herbert Jones in for 32 makes the most sense. Josh Hart in for 34, 36, something like that. 36, I guess, for Josh Hart. No reason to short him at all. So we'll get Josh Hart in there. Nickeil Alexander-Walker came back after missing 3 games, played about 26 minutes. That works for me. We have no Satoransky now, who was a natural backup point guard. I think that can just be maybe Jose Alvarado if they need it. Garrett Temple is playing all sorts of different amounts of minutes. Maybe we give him 18 here, and we just need a backup 4, which is probably Gary Clark. That's actually a pretty easy rotation for New Orleans once you break it down. I do likely need to cut all of these rates. Let's check out what New Orleans looks like. Although they don't really have anybody off that matters. So I guess we could just sort of move forward with normal rates. So that's a 25% usage rate for Joval this season. Brandon Ingram on the year, 30% usage rate. Let's lock that in. Devontae Graham's at 20 on the dot. That can stay. Nickeil Alexander-Walker's in the 20s. That can stay. So I guess I don't really have anything else I need to change here. I guess Devontae Graham's assist rate can come down. Not a lot here, really, that we're going to be interested in for New Orleans, other than maybe Nickeil Alexander-Walker, which isn't all that fun to think about. So this game actually sucks. Oh, and we're up to 100 likes. You guys are the best. So for Utah, again, 10-point favorites. You're probably not playing anybody from Utah on purpose other than a last guy in. For New Orleans, same story, sort of. But they've got like rando little bits, like Josh Hart, 6,800 on DraftKings, or Herbert Jones, 4,600 on DraftKings. Wait a second. Okay. Look, Herbert Jones is not a center. Why does he have center eligibility on DraftKings? Anyway, 4,600 for Herbert Jones looks good. Nickeil Alexander-Walker looks like an interesting value piece at 4,100. You know, if he does play 26 minutes, I got a ceiling at 37. That's not the worst scenario in the world. I don't know. Something to pay attention to. Alrighty, 4 more games to go here. Denver, 2.5-point dogs in Dallas. What do we know for Denver right now? Because I know that they had been mildly walking wounded. Still are. No Monty Morris. No Jeff Green. No Murray. Bones Highland. Najee. Okay, so we got to gut everything here. We leave 35 minutes for Nikola Jokic. We have 13 here. We got to cut all these rates out too. 13 minutes for JaMychal Green as the backup center. Pretty clearly going to be Facundo Campazzo starting at the 1. We're going to give him 30 minutes. Let's see. I mean, Will Barton's just going to play like 35 minutes. That's pretty standard issue Will Barton run. Aaron Gordon is just going to play decent. Well, he is just making his return. Maybe 30 is the best we can do there for Aaron Gordon. He's probably exclusively playing that at the 4. So then next up, Austin Rivers seems like he's going to play 32 minutes just sort of by default. So let's move Will Barton to the 3. SMP, no, I don't think she did. I actually talked her out of starting Jamar Chase. So she lost out on like 30 additional points there. It would have been Chase over Renfro was the coin flip. We started Renfro. Renfro had a good game, but obviously Jamar Chase had a monster game. So, there's that. Probably cost her too. But like she had Dalvin Cook last night and he was obviously atrocious. So it might not have mattered anyway. I'll have to check it out in a little bit. I'm hoping it didn't matter at all. Like she had CD Lamb, didn't play particularly well, so she kind of got a lot of busts, unfortunately. But yeah, sat Chase for that one. Not fun. All right, let's finish off the rest of Denver. So backup 4. I mean, I guess Rajon Tucker is going to continue to play here. He played 22 minutes. I'm just going to give him 16 for... I don't even have him on the damn team. Okay. Well, let's find out if Rajon Tucker is on any team. He is. I got him on Minnesota. So let's move him over to Denver. Let's try this again. Because I knew Tucker played a lot. So we need to make sure we're giving him those minutes. Rajon Tucker in 16 minutes. Check. Devon Reed in backup run 13 minutes. Check. I mean, I guess JaMychal Green can actually just play a little bit more and play alongside Jokic. Or not. Konkar is in. Let's give him 18 minutes. And then who's the backup point guard? I guess that's just Austin Rivers, right? And they stagger and bump a guy. So we do something like that. Which means that Rajon Tucker can actually play 22 minutes. And then we leave 9 for, I don't know, Peter Corneli, I guess. Now let's look at rates. What in the world do you think Nikola Jokic's assist rate is when all of the point guards aren't on the floor? That should be interesting. It's a fun show to do today. Went to work and have the day off. Glenn, now that's a tough beat. All right, we take Morris off. We take Porter off. That's probably all that we need to take off here. Not nearly as much time with Nikola Jokic in that spot as you would expect, but 39% usage rate with no Monty Morris, no Michael Porter Jr. I'm not going to go all the way to that, but 1.89 FanDuel points per minute. I'm going to take it up to 37. And then we actually don't see the assist rate jump. We do see the rebounding rate jump up pretty high, which I think is kind of interesting. I don't want to go too high there, but I definitely want to bump it up. Maybe go 16. I'll leave the assist rate for right now. We know that Campazzo is probably going to do a little bit more from the assist range. Bones Highland, I guess, would probably be another interesting guy to take off. Does that change the Jokic sample? Does he go to like 40% usage now? But it does cut him down to 84% or 84 minutes. Will Barton seems to be the guy that gets the biggest bump. What is Will Barton's usage rate if I leave Bones Highland on? 24%. Okay. So that can stay then. Doesn't really do much else. I don't think I need to move Campazzo's rates. Aaron Gordon, you would expect to do a little bit more. We'll lock him in. And then Austin Rivers is the final guy. He legitimately doesn't do anything. So there's going to be a little bit here to like for Denver. Let's check the Dallas side out now. Jokic would be my MVP right now. He's just been... I mean, actually, I think you can make a pretty good case for Giannis. Steph would be 3 for me. Durant, well, Durant would have been 4. Fallen off a little bit with the little bit of a lighter load as of late. But yeah, Jokic, Giannis, Steph would be my 1, 2, 3. LeBron working on it, though, that's for sure. Alrighty. Denver down. Dallas we go. Wow, 7:42. I told you we're going till 8 o'clock today, guys. All right, Dallas. I have no idea who's in for Dallas now that Luka's back. So everybody's in except for Willie Cauley-Stein. So we can just sort of treat this team however we'd like. So let's scratch this entire rotation for Dallas and get back to what we know Dallas will do. So we'll start with Jalen Brunson, who is going to play 30 minutes. We get... Does anybody else play at the 1? Probably not. So let's go to Luka. 32 minutes. I don't really see any scenario where you can say that Steph should be the MVP ahead of Jokic. To me, that one doesn't make any sense. I don't think you can compare those two guys. Jokic is having a slightly better offensive season. One of them is a center. The other one is a point guard. To me, it's just pretty clearly Jokic over Steph. I don't really know how you can make an argument for Steph over Jokic. There's nothing really on the surface that makes that make any sense. Dwight Powell seems to be playing like 24 minutes a game again, so he should be due to leave the rotation soon. They seem to always do that once you think you know what he's doing. Reggie Bullock came back, played about 28 minutes. That'll work. Tim Hardaway Jr. came back, played 24. I'm going to say that he plays a little bit more than that. Let's take him to 28 minutes. Dorian Finney-Smith, we know, is just like a 34-minute-a-game guy. Let's see. Who else do we need here? Backup center. I guess we have Maxey back now, too. He was playing upwards of 30 minutes when everybody was in except for Luka. So... Let's see. Let's see. This is actually tricky. All right, let's give Porzingis his 32 minutes. And then I guess we're still missing a big chunk of Maxey here. I'm going to go 24 for right now. And we can move some of Dorian Finney-Smith's minutes down. So then that leaves me just 8 additional minutes. I guess I'm going to give him Sterling Brown. He's like the other guy that plays. So Dallas rotation, pretty simple, but I haven't had Luka in forever, so we definitely need to change rates. Considering how long Luka has been out since I've played. Because I didn't play Sunday, so like Luka hasn't played in a month. So this is just like standard issue rates. We get Luka in for 36% usage. We get Kristaps Porzingis in for 28% usage. And that should basically nuke everybody else for this team. I don't really need to change anything for Dorian Finney-Smith or Powell or Reggie Bullock. So that's this game. Denver and Dallas. I don't think this one's going to look very good. I mean, Jokic clearly looks great. 11.5 on FanDuel, 12.4 on DraftKings. I've got him projected for 1.76 FanDuel points per minute. 61.5 on FanDuel. Still just a fantastic option. Will Barton looking solid too. No real priorities though for Denver, and no real priorities for Dallas either. I mean, I don't really have a ton of interest in Luka at 10K on FanDuel or 10.9 on DraftKings. He looks good, not great. I got him at 1.44 FanDuel points per minute. Porzingis is too expensive. Dorian Finney-Smith. There's just not a lot here. So we're on to Miami Golden State. Miami 8.5 point dogs. I have no idea who's healthy for the Miami Heat right now. Miami. So no Duncan Robinson, Bam, Oladipo, Vincent Morris. All right, so most of these guys. So let's gut this entire rotation once again. So we've got no Bam, no Dedmon. So it's still Yurt7 at center. King Jacob, I'll take that bet. For whatever you want to put on it. All right, we'll go 32 minutes for Yurt7. Let's assume... Ooh, was that blowout run on Sunday? Sunday the 2nd, Miami. No, that's a close game. So Chris Silva backed up Yurt7 exclusively. Good to know. So they didn't go to... Oh, PJ Tucker wasn't in. Is PJ Tucker back? Questionable. So we're going to assume that he's back. So let's give Chris Silva... Oh, shit. He was on a different team. Stupid guys that are changing teams. No, Chris Silva leaves Minnesota, goes to Miami. Mike, these aren't the best takes. All right, let's try this again. Miami, Chris Silva, backup center season. Welcome back to the Heat, Chris Silva. We're going to assume PJ Tucker plays because he's PJ Tucker. Like, at some point in time, the dude's got to come back. Granted, he's been out for 6 games. Let's give PJ Tucker 24 minutes. Kyle Lowry is back. Kyle Lowry stepped into 36 minutes. He's going to play 36 minutes here. Tyler Hero is going to play 36 minutes. Caleb Martin is probably going to play 36 minutes. Jimmy Butler is probably going to play 36 minutes. So now we don't have too much else. That's a 7-man rotation. Kyle Guy played a lot. We don't have Gabe Vincent. So I think Kyle Guy is also going to be the backup point guard once again. So there's 12. Do we get to an 8th guy? Do they go to Haywood Highsmith or Sauce Castillo? Let's give Sauce Castillo 12 minutes. All right, just just so we can do this, Nikola Jokic has basically the same usage as Curry, slightly higher. More efficient, 3% more on true shooting. He significantly out-rebounds him. Offensively, it's not close. Defensively, not close. Jokic might be the best rebounder in basketball. Jokic, 37% assist rate to Steph Curry's 27. Kind of crazy. 4.2% steals plus blocks. 3.4 for Curry. It's Jokic clear across the board in basically every stat. And then he's a center over a point guard. Yeah, that's I don't know what you can look at from a statistical point of view and say that Steph Curry is having a better season than Nikola Jokic this year. That information just doesn't exist. At best, you can say they're equals. One of them plays a more difficult defensive situation. Just out of curiosity, why would you pick Steph in that scenario? We've seen this. We've seen him lose a finals game because he didn't get the shot that you wanted. Are we really going to just immediately say that Steph Curry is a better clutch player than Nikola Jokic? Because I don't see it. I'm not saying that he's not, but like, we're short selling Nikola Jokic. He's the best offensive player in the league right now. Not really any argument. No, those are not historic numbers, David. That is this season. That would be what we would be measuring an MVP award on. All right. We got to get these Miami rates because I didn't play on Friday, and then all of a sudden Kyle Lowry got ruled in. When has Jokic been clutch? Probably wasn't when he was going to Western Conference Finals carrying teams or anything. Yeah, Cody, that's an interesting point too. Yeah, I mean, in the last 5 seconds of the game, I actually want the ball to go to LeBron or Kevin Durant, but that's neither here nor there. All right, who are we taking off here? Bam, I guess, right? Also, let's just be clear here. Clutch is meaningless. Listen, that's not a real thing. So let's throw that in the garbage right out of the gate. There's no such thing as clutch. But yeah, the MVP right now is Nikola Jokic. If you want to give it to Giannis because of how good he is defensively, I can totally get behind that. All right, with no Bam, Kyle Lowry just doesn't do much differently other than get a lot of assists. Tyler Hero, 30% usage rate. Dude's just out there doing it. Jimmy Butler, 391 minutes, 31% usage rate. It actually wants me to put in Caleb Martin's rates. That's fun. Caleb Martin, 17% usage rate. And then Omer Yurtseven, 21% usage rate with no Bam. Let's just put Butler on the floor just to make that easier. All right, come on, Mike. What are we doing here? We're gonna okay. So did Steve Kerr save Michael Jordan? Come on, that's what we're talking about now. Is one of the dumbest things that we can talk about. Nobody saved anybody. Come on, that's just what are we doing here? What a dumb take. Can't believe Michael Jordan needed to be saved by Steve Kerr and John Paxson, or whichever Paxson was on the Bulls at that time. Come on now. Yurt7, we're just going to lock into his normal rates. Guys, we ground this into a halt. It's 8 o'clock. I have 2 more games to go. We are making 0 progress on this slate. Let's talk Golden State Warriors. For the Warriors, let's do this. Who's in, who's out? No Clay, obviously. Draymond back. Damian Lee back. So normal Warriors rotation? Is that what we're getting here? We'll go 35 minutes to Curry. We'll go 35 minutes, 34 minutes to Wiggins. Draymond back after 2 games out. We'll get him to 32 minutes here. So, uh-oh. There it is. Thought I froze my workbook there. Let's go ahead and get a save in. Mike, that doesn't make any sense. Why can't you compare their stats? And why is it apples and oranges? Because Nikola Jokic is tall? That legitimately makes no sense. There are 2 guys playing in the league right now. All right, Kevon Looney. No Draymond. We're talking, what, 22 minutes? This is Miami against Yurt7. Not really necessary. We'll go 22. We'll get Draymond in for 30. We'll get B. Jelly in for 14. We'll get Juan Toscano Anderson in for 14. Jordan Poole is back, played 17, missed a lot of time. I'm going to say Jordan Poole plays 24. Okay, keys to the city. Yes, Jokic is going to have more rebounds than Curry because of his height. I agree. Why does he have more assists? Why is his assist rate higher? You can't have one side of this argument without the other. Jokic is beating him in both things. And usage. And efficiency. You can't be like, oh, Jokic gets extra credit because he gets rebounds. Well, where's the inverse of that? There we go. He can see more. That's incredible. Does Damian Lee get like any real run here? It's probably just like 24 more minutes. Maybe him and Poole split it. I don't know. That'll be an interesting talking point for Adam and I later today. We got Iggy in for 22. Again, not sure. Again, it's close. We can't act like one of those things is more ridiculous than the other. That doesn't help anybody out either. There we go. That's Golden State. I don't think we have rate changes to worry about for right now. So Miami. Lots to like here for Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler looks solid, 9,800 and 10K. Tyler Hero looks good, 6,500 on FanDuel, 7,200 on DraftKings. Caleb Martin, 5,300 on FanDuel, 4,700 on DraftKings. Yurt7 across both. We're playing all 4 of those guys. Kyle Lowry, not exactly a great play today. 2 games to go. We've been going for an hour and a half, kicking off 2022 the only way we know best. Atlanta Hawks, Portland Trailblazers, one of the final 2 games here. I have no idea what's going on with Atlanta. No Bogdan, no Hunter, no Collins. Basically everybody else, though, is back. That's helpful. Okay. Yeah, comparing Jokic and Sabonis is that's super disrespectful. Let's see. Atlanta Hawks are about to be interesting today. We're going to go 36 minutes to Trae Young because this one, I think, 5-point line in Portland. This one should be competitive. Trae Young in for 36 minutes. We're going to say Clint Capella is in for 32. We get Onyeka Okongwu back. I'm going to say he's playing 16. We have Kevin Huerter back after pretty long time out. But I assume he's stepping back into the starting lineup. So let's go to 30 minutes on Huerter. Cam Reddish, also available, has missed no time. So we're going to go 32 minutes to Cam Reddish. Gallo is back for the first time in what feels like forever. He has also missed the same amount of time as Kevin Huerter. I don't think that Gallo is naturally stepping into a ton of time here, so we're going to give him 24 minutes. DeLon Wright back, so we're going to say that he plays backup point guard. And I know we have Lou Will back as well, who played 31 minutes. So maybe Lou Will is the backup point guard. DeLon Wright is the backup 2. We don't really have a natural 4. Wes Iwundu played 43 minutes this last time out. So Trae Young starts, Reddish starts, Huerter starts, Capella starts. I don't think they start Gallo. It seems like a spot where they might just start Wes Iwundu again. That makes the most sense here. So let's give Wes Iwundu 24 minutes. And then the final 16. It's probably not going to be... Oh, TLC. TLC is off the injury report. Easy. So it's going to be something like that. We're not really playing this Atlanta Hawks team today. That seems very, very clear. Let's go to Portland. Portland. 221 viewers. We're over 100 likes. If you haven't hit that like button yet, please do so. We're coming up on the... Yeah, we're skipping Golden State because they don't look good, guys. They're basically barely playable ever. Now they're getting guys back. Just don't play people from Golden State. We should know that. Let's do Portland. No Dame. No CJ. Doubtful tag on Nurk. So this one's about to be pretty insane. Oh man, is DSJ gonna start? This one's actually tricky. All right, so let's start from the backside then, because I think that's going to be a little bit easier. We're going to get 32 minutes of Larry Nance at center. We're going to get... Oh, man. We're going to say Reggie Perry is the backup center. Nas Little getting, 28 minutes at the 4. Robert Covington has been out for 3 games. I think he's going to play like 30 minutes. So we'll do something like that. Oh, man. So Dennis Smith played 24 minutes this last time out. I think he's going to have to play 30. I think that Simons is going to play like 30. That would make the most sense to me. I think Norm Powell is probably going to play these 36 minutes. I think Ben McLemore is probably going to be in for a pretty solid 24. And then maybe Tony Snell closes it out. Oof. We're about to have a real problem with Anthony Simons. Like a real big problem. Is he the flat min or something? This is about to break Portland. So we take off CJ McCollum and Damian Lillard. In theory, I should take off Nurk, but this is already going to be limiting enough. Dennis Smith Jr. has played the most minutes with no Dame and CJ on the floor. 20% usage rate. Every other rate stays the same. Anthony Simons has played 98 minutes without those two guys. He's got a 29% usage rate. I'm just going to send this one back to last year just to see what Simons generally does when those guys aren't on the floor. I want a slightly bigger sample. Because we need to make sure that Powell's usage rate, which in 188 minutes is 30, we'll take that up to 29. And then Simons is at 23. So let's lock in 23. Nas Little is at 19. I don't think that we can trust that totally. This also leaves Melo on. I think... I mean, there's got to be somebody else we need to bump up here. I'm just not entirely sure who that's going to be. Let's take Melo off. Yeah, I guess maybe Nas Little really does take a decent sized bump. I'm going to take him up to 19% usage. It doesn't make a ton of sense to me, but I think we kind of have to. I'm fine with Covington's rates. I'm fine with Larry Nance's. No, I'm not fine with Larry Nance's rates. Am I fine with Ben McLemore going that crazy? No. Kind of. All right, so Robert Covington is the last guy I got to worry about. Put him in at 12. We're going to get spillover. Oh boy, do we got some value on Portland tonight. Lots of value on Portland tonight. We're up to an hour and 38 minutes so far. So on Atlanta, I think Trae Young looks good on FanDuel at 9,800. I think Clint Capella looks solid on both sites. Cam Reddish looks okay on FanDuel at 5,400. On Portland, this is the one that matters most. Dennis Smith Jr. is 4K on FanDuel. Assuming he starts, he's going to be one of the most popular plays on FanDuel today. Norm Powell, 6K on FanDuel, 6,500 on DraftKings. Going to be one of the most popular plays across both sites today. Anthony Simons is 3,700 on FanDuel, 4,100 on DraftKings. Going to be one of the most popular plays all day today. Covington looks okay on DraftKings at 4,600. Larry Nance looks solid across both sites. Nas Little for 4,700 on DraftKings looks good. Portland, very, very clearly your best option today in DFS. Unless Minnesota and the Clippers, which we're closing out with right now, is slightly different. So on the Minnesota side, we've got doubtful tags on Russell and Towns. I didn't have them in last time, so I think we're going to be able to go with the Minnesota rotation I had in previously, which is good. Makes things a little bit easier. So as we look at Minnesota, $29 minutes for Pat Bev. I think that seems fine. 19 for Jalen Noel. Pretty much fine. Knight and Reed. Reed played 30. Knight played 11. So we did finally get Naz Reid playing the minutes that we would expect. So we're going to go 30 and 18 here. We had Jared Vanderbilt in for 30. That makes sense. 36 for Beasley. I went to 32 on Edwards. That just needs to be 36 now. Jake Layman appears to be not the guy that's going to get those minutes. Jaden McDaniels played 22, so I'm fine with 24. Jordan McLaughlin played 5. So we have a little bit of time. We've got 18 minutes to give to Taurean Prince, Jordan McLaughlin. If we need to give it to anybody else, I think that's fine. This workbook is starting to chug a bit, which is scary. Not Siri, scary. All right, let's save that because it's starting to get nerve-wracking here. There we go. Man, that Portland value is going to be nice when we run these crunches. Look at how slow my workbook is going. We're barely going to make it out of this. Look at that. Spin and spin and spin and still. We'll give 6 to... It doesn't really matter here. 12 to McLaughlin, 6 to Taurean Prince. Rates will stay the same. Naz Reid is about to be a problem. Whoa, boy. Let's finish it off with the Clippers here. And there's another team that I don't really know what they're doing. LA Clippers. So Reggie Jackson is back. I got to delete this entire rotation. So we got Reggie Jackson back, Terrence Mann in, Marcus Morris in. We don't know the status of Batum, but I think we need to assume that he is in. So, David, why do you doubt that? Why would you expect their starting center to not play starting center minutes? I'm fine with thinking that, but tell me why you doubt that. All right, Reggie Jackson made his return on Friday. I think he's set for 34 minutes. I think Terrence Mann is also set for 34 minutes. I think that the starting center, obviously not Ivica Zubac. Who did they start? Ibaka, I'm guessing, on Saturday? Reggie Jackson, Amir Coffey, Ibaka, Bledsoe, Mann. Okay, so Ibaka started 22 minutes. Seems about right. Man, if is Bledsoe really going to still play 30 minutes a game? I mean, I guess he is, right? I'm going to say Amir Coffey is the backup point guard. Did they really go Coffey, Bledsoe, Mann, and Reggie Jackson? I mean, that's... So who's... How tall is Amir Coffey? 6'7". Okay. That's a little bit more reasonable. So let's say that, I don't know, Bledsoe's like the backup 1 and backup 2, and then Amir Coffey, I guess Amir Coffey just potentially starts again? You know, plays like 28 minutes? And then Marcus Morris is just going to play, I don't know, a pretty decent chunk, it seems. I mean, he's been playing a lot. I'm going to give him 34 minutes. We can get Justice Winslow in for his, like, 18-minute run. Yeah, I don't... I mean, they should... They want to play Naz Reid, so... William, we didn't talk about Cameron Oliver because Atlanta has 9 real players back today, including most of their entire rotation. I don't know if we get Cameron Oliver now that Kevin Huerter, Cam Reddish, Gallo, Okongwu, DeLon Wright, and TLC are all back. Not so sure they want to play the random guy at the end of their bench any longer. Could be wrong, but, you know, I actually just looked at the information, so could just be it. I don't know. I want to dig into it too much. What with all of their team being back and all. I guess we have to think that Batum plays. So there's 22 minutes for Batum. And then we kind of just split minutes to, like, I don't know, James Ennis or Xavier Moon or something. We'll go 10 to Wenyen Gabriel, 10 to James Ennis because it doesn't matter. So that is it, guys. We are done the 10 games. It took us an hour and 46 minutes, thanks to taking a little bit of time on that Jokic-Curry debate. For Minnesota, wow. So Naz Reid is 40. Let's just, for sake of argument, make this slightly not as crazy. We're going to go to 28-20 on Naz Reid and Nathan Knight. Just so Naz Reid doesn't show up in literally everything. Naz Reid looks exceptional on both sites. One of the best plays of the day. But so does Anthony Edwards. 8,200 on FanDuel, 7,700 on DraftKings. Might be the actual best play of the day. Beasley looks good. Jared Vanderbilt looks good. Minnesota looking really, really, really good. On the Clippers, I mean, Reggie Jackson looks fantastic. Do I need to update Clippers rates? Is that my problem here? I don't have rates in for Reggie Jackson. He might look even better. Yeah, I actually have to update these rates because I assume Reggie Jackson has a monstrous usage rate with no Paul George on the floor. Mike, that's a terrible comp, by the way. Okay, so Paul George off. Not George King, whoever the hell that is. Reggie Jackson with no Paul George on the floor this year. I assume was played the most minutes. Close to it. Oh, that's since last year. I don't want that. This year. .392 minutes, 29% usage rate for Reggie Jackson. Yep, that'll work. And an assist rate bump. We're going to have to hit everybody here. Reggie Jackson gets pretty high up there. Eric Bledsoe also does. Not ideal. Huge assist rate bump for Eric Bledsoe, too. After that, we're going to go Terrence Mann. He does not get the same sort of bumps. Serge Ibaka, I'm sure, does not. Nick Batum, I'm sure, does not. Marcus Morris, 24.5% usage rate with no Paul George. He seems to enjoy himself out there. And then Amir Coffey does very little. So yeah, we're going to have a lot to like here for the Clippers too. I mean, Reggie Jackson looks great on FanDuel at 6K. Marcus Morris looks great on DraftKings at 6K. Terrence Mann looks good on FanDuel and DraftKings. Serge Ibaka looks good on FanDuel and DraftKings. Let's run some crunches, baby. Here we go. First process show of 2022, and we're going to go for almost 2 straight hours. Strategy show coming up later, contenders videos today. We're talking basketball today, folks. We are here for it. I'm on Live Before Lock tonight. I'm everywhere today. Alrighty, here we go. First crunch. FanDuel Optimals. Let's do it. What do we got? Said, if you're getting here late, man, we started at 6:30. We've been going for an hour and 50 minutes. If you're late, that's on you. Yeah, and hit that like button. I agree with Anthony Marcus. All right, 357 on this projected lineup. That's by 0.7 of a point. Trae Young, Dennis Smith Jr., Bradley Beal, Anthony Simons, Anthony Edwards, Norm Powell, Tobias Harris, whose name I don't even remember saying, Wendell Carter Jr., and Naz Reid. Looking good here. No complaints whatsoever on that lineup. That makes a ton of sense. Monster projection, too. Let's check out the power rankings on FanDuel. Happy New Year to you, Chris. Good morning. Super, good to see you. Happy New Year to you as well. All right, FanDuel's looking like Dennis Smith Jr. is going to be at the top of the heap. Norm Powell and Anthony Simons are right there with him. Anthony Edwards not too far behind, nor is Reggie Jackson for that matter. So here it is. Dennis Smith Jr. is the number one with a bullet. We get Norm Powell, Reggie Jackson, Anthony Simons, Anthony Edwards, Trey Lyles, Naz Reid, Bradley Beal, Wendell Carter Jr. That's everybody 20% or higher. That seems like the pretty solid core for right now. FanDuel looking wild. DraftKings, I'm guessing, looks even wilder. Frank, good to have you here. Let's check out DK. On DraftKings, optimal lineup is Bradley Beal, 306.1. So this is by 0.2 of a point. Bradley Beal, Anthony Simons, Naz Little, Naz Reid, Christian Wood, Dennis Smith Jr., Norm Powell, Anthony Edwards. Okay, so obviously we don't know if Christian Wood's going to be playing today, but that $6,200 price tag means he's close to a cash game lock if he is. Let's run it. Let's run these power rankings right now for DK. Boom. We're going to see who really separates from the pack. Not surprised to see Anthony Edwards being such a big play here on DK. 7,700 just looks good. Yeah, Edwards is just on another tier, although Anthony Simons is pretty close to him now. So maybe Edwards isn't on his own tier, but he's definitely number one for today on DraftKings. So Edwards, Simons, Powell. If Christian Wood is starting for the Rockets today, he's an exceptional play on DraftKings. Terrence Ross looks good. Naz Reid looks good. Terrence Mann looks good. So a lot of Terrences today. That's one thing. A lot of Naz today. That's another one. We got Marcus Morris looking solid. Maxey, Gafford, Lyles, Reggie Jackson, Dennis Smith Jr., and Caleb Martin. That's everybody above 15%. We made it, guys. We made it. It only took an hour and 53 minutes of streaming, yet here we are at the end of the road. Disheveled look is what we were looking for today. Thank you for joining me. I've got contenders videos to record now. Strategy show coming up at 10 a.m. with Adam Scher. We got a ton to break down. Interesting slate. I'm on Live Before Lock tonight, so don't miss that. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engelman if you haven't done it already. 240-ish people in here right now. If you haven't hit the like button yet, do so. We're going to have a big 2022. It's going to be some fun. We're here every single morning, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you to Prize Picks for being the presenting sponsor. Mwah! I'm out of here. Good luck. We're back tomorrow.